Yeah, that's really frustrating. I was really hoping to see a leak. I still got to check the bottom, see if there's anything weeping out of the bottom. All right, your favoriteest thing.
Get this vlog done.
All right, helper's ready. Okay. Yep, put on the socks, put on some boots.
Yep.
I got my boots. Good morning, beautiful people. All right, first thing this morning, I've actually got a chore that needs to be done that I've been avoiding. Let me walk down here by the pigs and I'll explain what's going on. I think I've talked about it in videos past, but I have a drum waterer out here that I'm fairly certain is leaking. The amount of mud that is currently being generated over here is pretty good. But they have also nearly drained. Like you can see, the water level in that one is kind of low. There's mud on the ground. This one is actually full. These big old pigs don't actually drink that much water, but that's the amount of mud they have. I'd say that's reasonable. Well, then we come over here to this pen, and there is so much water, so much mud, like it's absolute slop. And you can see their water is empty. Something that tells me this is leaking. The way I marked this should actually stop with a little bit of yellow showing at empty. The fact this is dropping below that tells me this is probably leaking. So I'm gonna get in here, I'm gonna dump that out. I'm gonna get that drum completely out of there, bring it up here, wash it off, and give it a once over. I have another drum that is currently being used for an experiment that I know isn't leaking, so I could bring that one and replace it if this one is leaking. Wearing my rubber boots, I'm gonna get in here, get all muddy. Hopefully not too terribly muddy. I brought backup. I got Brett and Corbin out here. Someone's got to hold the camera because I can't hold the camera. I can't set the camera in there because the pigs would knock it in the mud. All right, Brett. You gonna hold the camera for me? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. You know, this one does look like it's got some sun cracks. So it very well could just be it's been in the sun too much. I don't know. I'm not seeing any obvious cracks. Alright, I'm gonna fill that thing up. Maybe I can find a leak. I'm gonna get a little bit of water in it, enough to where I can still tip it and look at the bottom, see if the bottom's leaking. I'm not seeing anything obvious, so maybe it's the actual water nipples themselves that are leaking. We'll find out. I'll get some water on everything. Let's just start checking for leaks. I doubt these pigs are wasting that much water because they've got their wallow where they like to wallow, and it's not next to the water. They're just making a mucky, nasty mess out of the whole pen, and I'm having to fill this thing up every other day. Most of these pigs, in the heat of summer like we are right now, one of those drums can last 5 days, sometimes more, depending on the pigs. I find it weird that the feeder pigs who are on dry feed in a feeder are going through a drum every, I don't know, 3 weeks, whereas these guinea hogs they're burning through an entire drum of water in 2 days. They're not burning through an entire drum of water. Somehow it's getting wasted. I think the drum's leaking. We'll check that. But I have seen them. They spend a lot of time just sitting there rinsing their mouths out. Maybe that's what they're doing. They don't like the flavor of the mud in the pen, so they're just into rinsing their mouths out. So we'll figure this out. If not, I've got another drum I can put out there. You know, actually, I'll show you guys. I'll walk down there while this is filling up. All right, so this was somewhat of an experiment. This drum right here I have filled up. It's got cow manure, it's got comfrey, charcoal. Basically, I've charged charcoal with it. I've pulled the majority of the charcoal out of it. What's left is just the slurry of cow manure. I think there's some chicken manure, all sorts of interesting stuff. I have a fish bubbler, a fish tank bubbler that sits and bubbles and keeps the whole thing agitated. I took the extension cord and plugged it into my table saw the other day, and I forgot to plug it back in. So it's kind of just sat here. Yeah, that's a solid mess. I'm actually tired of it being here. I haven't used it as much as I thought I would. The idea was to use this in the garden, and I've used it once or twice maybe. So I think what we'll do is I will get the tractor, we'll pick this thing up, and I'll take this and just spread all that manure and good stuff that's in there on one of the garden beds that needs some love, and then just wash it out real good before it becomes a pig waterer again. The reason this is over here is because I cut the top out of one of those drums, and it just collects a lot of, you know, nasty stuff being out there by the pigs. Leaves fall in it and stuff like that, but it doesn't leak. So I'll go back to that drum, I'll check that drum, and we'll give it a once over. I may just put this one in there. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Hi, Millie Cat. Came to supervise, huh? We're about up to those water nipples, so I'll be able to check it here in a minute. I'm not seeing any obvious drips. Might be these water nipples. Well, bummer. I'm not seeing any leaks.
I think they're just wasteful pigs.
Yeah, that means they're just wasting that much water. I was really hoping to see a leak. Alright, well that's kind of discouraging. I was really hoping to see a leak. There are no leaks. So, what that means is those pigs are just wasting water. I think what's hard is, you know, I'm cool with a pig making a wallow. That's the nature of a pig. But they make so much mud they don't wallow in it. They go lay in the dry corner of their pig pen. They don't get in the mud, which is odd. But they've made so much mud they've let so much water out of this, and I keep filling it up, and they let water out to where their pig house has gotten flooded. They now no longer have a shelter because of how the water has worked its way into their pig house. So at the very least, I think I'll just move the drum. Now that I know that it's not a bad drum, it's bad pigs, I'll just move the drum to like the far corner away from their house, so it quits flooding out their house, and they have a dry place to get to, you know, out of the rain, because that's really the main thing. But yeah, that's really frustrating. I was really hoping to see a leak. I still got to check the bottom, see if there's anything weeping out of the bottom. But yeah, it's not looking real promising. It's looking like I just have some wasteful pigs. I think the only other alternative is I would have to come out here and water them throughout the day, which I don't know if you've had to haul, you know, like buckets of water to an animal. It's very time consuming. I'm gonna check the bottom of this real quick, see if I can see anything weeping out, but it looks like I'm gonna have to figure something else out.
Heck, you're gonna want to move.
Okay, can you hold that right there? You're gonna want to be on the push side. Don't slosh it. Be on the push side. Corbin, you get on that side and just hold it right there. I think what's hard is it's damp from condensation because that water's all cold. Okay, let it down easy. Just wash it. I'm trying to keep it dry. Okay, the verdict is in. I have some wasteful pigs. There ain't nothing wrong with this drum. I guess I get to dump it out, take it back over there, drag a hose over, and fill up their water yet again. Now, I will say I do need to empty out that other drum, so I'll do that here as soon as I get this taken care of. I actually need one more drum because I'm gonna separate Mo from the ladies out in the woods. I built a bachelor pad for him so he can get separated out because we don't need any Mo pigs for this coming fall. Pigs we have are due probably next month, and after that, that's it for the year. We don't need any more popping up in the middle of winter. So it's time to separate out our boar from the ladies. All right. We can at least put this where they're not gonna flood their house. Let's put it further over here.
What?
Down the boot. Those of you who haven't seen, that's the cap that usually comes on one of these drums. This is just a driveway marker I painted with colors, and then a piece of 2-inch foam that I just sanded into a round shape to fit through the hole. That's full, and then as the water level drops, once it's only red showing, then I know I'm empty. Okay, I think while I'm waiting, I'm gonna go grab the tractor and bring a couple scoops of dirt to put right there in the mud. All right, I figured while I was bringing dirt over here, I'd fill this hole that they're starting to dig over here. You can see how much they've started undercutting this hillside. So I figured a little extra dirt right here, it'll help. And them, they think I brought them snacks. So they're eating all the green stuff out of there. Maybe it'll keep them busy for a while. But they'll do a good job of leveling out all this dirt, filling up this mud hole. Hopefully it'll keep the mud down a little bit. They still have all of that wallow over there. That was what Bubbles used when he was in here, and they stay out of it. They don't really like it. But then again, they don't get in this either. When they lay down, that used to be a spot they laid in, and because they've let so much water out of the drum, that turned into a mud hole. Well, they don't lay in that anymore, so they lay on any of the dry ground. Like their favorite spot's that dry corner over there. Yeah, it's just kind of funny. Now that I've got that taken care of, I guess we're just in a vicious cycle of they're just gonna empty their water onto the ground every other day. Hey, look, they're leveling out the dirt for me. Thanks, guys. See, entertainment too. All right, I'm gonna go deal with the, we've been taking to calling it the schmoothie because it was cow poop slurry. Schmoothie. Let's go get that dealt with. I'm gonna haul it up and spread it on one of the beds up here. Since I have the bucket already on, I think I can pick up that drum with the bucket. We'll go do that right now. Pretty gross. That's some schmoothie, all right. It's charcoal. A lot of charcoal, actually. I'll put this stuff on this bed, let it dry, and then I'm gonna till this in. Ideally, it would be nice to dilute this a whole bunch. Honestly, that's enough liquid fertilizer. I could fertilize this entire property with that stuff if I diluted it like 50 to 1. But it's all right. This charcoal is going to be so charged for this bed, it's going to work wonders for this bed. Right on the boot. You know, surprisingly, this stuff doesn't stink at all. Having that fish tank bubbler in it, it kept it from becoming anaerobic. It actually doesn't stink whatsoever. All right, so it looks like that manure kind of stained a little bit, as you can see. I'm not real worried about that. I'll take this over and pressure wash this out after it cools down. We've worked on into the heat of the day, so I'm gonna put the tractor away and I will pressure wash this later. We're not moving Mo, separating him from his ladies just yet. We've still got like a month. This was just on the list of things that needed to be dealt with. Now it's dealt with. And I know once and for all that one of those waters is not busted. It's just wasteful pigs. So I'm gonna head inside. It is a new day. I ended up not getting to pressure wash that drum until this morning. So I figured I'll just pick up where I left off. Got this thing all washed out this morning. This one does not have the nipple held in there by one of those nice bulkhead fittings. I've got a couple down in the barn, so I'll take this down there, put a bulkhead fitting on, and then put the water nipple back on, and then I can haul this out in the woods and fill it up. And once this is out there, I can then move Mo. So I guess that's the theme of this video. Just working on getting a whole bunch of stuff done so I can do another thing. It's like the story of life, isn't it? Grommet. Ring. There's this roll almost out. This roll's been my old faithful. This roll of Teflon tape was hiding up here in like the rafters down here in the barn, and I've literally used that one roll because it's the one I can always find. I always put it back where I found it, up in the rafters, and wouldn't you know it, like, it is literally every single one of these I've done. Every time I've needed Teflon, I'll go reach up there in the up on the board where it was sitting, and that's been the Teflon roll I've used every single time. I'll grab a new one, I'll put it right back up there in that spot. Something about that spot my brain has always remembered. It's like, there's a roll of Teflon tape up there. Alright. You know, I want to say I have the top that I cut out of this floating around somewhere. I think I brought it down. Yep, here it is. So I had dug this out where it had been sitting for like 3 years. It's all overgrown with weeds where it was sitting because I needed the caps out of it when I was making my indicator flags for the drums. I have half a mind to screw some wood to this just so I can sit it in here so it'll keep a little bit of the debris out of it since this one doesn't have a top. Let me find a few scraps of wood. Yeah, I think I can. Look, here's a piece of deck board from my last project. Winner, winner. It's one of the things I actually learned from YouTube. When you cut the lids out, or the tops out of these, actually, if instead of cutting them like I did here, if you cut them just under here, then when you're done, you can take that whole thing off, flip it upside down, and now you have a top that'll keep everything out. I didn't know that when I got these drums, a couple years ago, and so I just cut them out like this because I was thinking leaving this ring on here would kind of add some stability, which it does. Like, they're still pretty rigid. But yeah, I saw Jason over at Sow the Land. He cuts his like that. Works pretty good, because then you still have a lid, as long as you have the bungs to plug these holes. All right, I'm gonna haul this out into the woods, and then I guess grab a hose and drag a hose over. In the shade is the place to work on hot, humid days like today. All right, I am actually going to set up a paddock for Mo. I've got his house out here. I want the water kind of as close to, you can see I have a hose run out here. I just leave this hose here, and then all I have to do is, you know, pull my string of hoses and connect to this one, and then this one I know reaches where I need it to. So I want this waterer somewhere within the vicinity of where this hose can reach. So I'm going to grab my other 2 nets and start setting up a paddock, so I can figure out where exactly Mo's going to live for a little bit. It's definitely time to start running the pigs through here, because I start losing the jungle to regrowth. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get started laying out some net. Got the paddock set up. The openings are going to meet each other, so all I have to do is open up the net and get big guy through. He doesn't lead, like, he doesn't know the program as well as the girls do. You know, they were born here. They have been rotated through the woods. Like, when they see me set up a paddock, they know that means time to move. Mo, whether he has caught on or he just doesn't care, he'd rather follow a bucket. So as it is right now, the ladies are actually thinking this is their new paddock, and so they won't leave me alone. They're like pacing the fence, waiting for me to open it up for them. So I may have to wait till feeding time tomorrow. Mo, are you ready to move? He's thinking about it. See if I can do this without food. Come on, Mo. Come on. Come on, Mo. Come on, Mo. Come on, Mo. Figured it out. All right. I'll put the fence back before the ladies figure out that it's not on. He's enjoying the jungle. Yeah, I know, ladies. You guys need some salad, too. I'll move you guys in a little bit. That was a successful move. All right, help us here. So you guys showed up just in time.
Apparently so.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Where'd he go? Back there in the back. Look at that. He's already starting to root. It's amazing how fast a pig can just root everything up. Hey, Mo, you like the new bachelor pad? He's like, oh, there's all sorts of good stuff to eat. Do your thing, Mo. There's enough in here. I probably won't have to feed him for a couple days. On that note, I actually did bring a bucket of persuasion down here. I think I'll feed the ladies because they're getting kind of upset that they don't get a whole new paddock of green stuff just yet. I'll probably move them tomorrow. I'm at the end of being outside for today. This has taken way longer than I wanted. Like at least my shirt is nearing being all one color. It doesn't even look sweaty now, it just looks darker.
Yeah.
I say that a lot and there's probably people tired of that, but I'm a sweaty guy. I've wondered what it would look like if I just carried around like a bottle and just like scraped it off. I wonder if I sweat enough I could like collect it.
Don't do that. That's disgusting.
All right, I'm gonna feed the ladies. I'll probably throw Mo a little bit too. Oops, I just used my hand. You know, it doesn't matter if I give them 2 bowls, 3 bowls. They would rather fight over 1 bowl.
Of course.
Because what's in the other one's bowl is better.
Much better.
Mo, you want some food?
He's like, nope. I'm good.
There.
Oh. Heard that.
Heard the bucket, huh?
He's like, oh, hey, I know that noise.
Hey, I heard a bucket.
You got salad hanging out your mouth.
This is why it's nice to run pigs in places you can't get real good. He just plows through the vines. They don't hurt him. They don't scratch him. Where's your mohawk? Have you been rubbing so much you rubbed your mohawk off? Okay, fence is on.
Cool.
Water's full. Yeah. Pigs are fighting over 1 bowl. We're all good to go. All right, it is now the end of the day. You are cooking up, surprise, surprise,
Green beans.
some green beans. Ooh, are those rolls?
These are, yeah, that's rolls.
Oh, those look delicious.
This morning reheated, and I got not quite ready yet, but Italian chicken casserole.
Ooh, that looks delicious. All melty and delicious. So that's actually a freezer meal.
It is, yeah.
So why do you make freezer meals every now and then?
Because I don't want to cook every single night.
Even though you are actually cooking something tonight.
I mean, I am, but this is pretty easy. Like, these were already snapped and washed in the fridge. All I had to do was just dump them in here with some butter. They're good to go. But
Fast food.
Freezer meals are nice to have on hand for fast food.
Freezer meals are one of those things that, you know, it's kind of a pain in the butt to make them ahead of time, but
It is.
when you don't know what to cook or you don't want to cook, it's
Right.
like, hey, I've got something in the freezer.
Yep.
All right, so I actually just came back from checking Mo. It's always good after a move to go back and check because, you know, like I did with the chickens this morning. I moved the chickens and forgot to connect 2 of the ends together.
Oh, no.
And so, like, they were together, but they're just like
Hanging there.
apart. And if a chicken wanted to hop, they could hop through. Luckily, they didn't because there wasn't really anywhere to go. They don't like going where they've already been because they've eaten everything.
Yeah.
So. Chickens like to move in a forwardly direction.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always good to check. I went out there to check on Mo and he was just like sadly laying in the corner closest to his ladies. I think he must have did the rounds and figured out, oh, I can't get to them. I'm separate from my lady friends.
Aww.
So we do have some, what are they called? What's a male pig called that's
I was gonna say weather, it's not a weather.
It's not a weather, but the same
Yeah.
thing. Boy pigs who have been castrated that they can go with the lady pigs and we don't have to worry about Momo pigs.
Right.
I might take 1 or 2 of those and stick them with Mo so he has a companion, but I'm worried they would fight and he's so big and strong.
I mean, yeah.
He might,
Let's see. He also is pretty chill, so.
he is a very chill boar.
Yeah.
Like great breeding stock just because of his temperament. Like he's super calm. I've never once been worried that Mo is going to eat me or
Right.
one of the kids. It's just a real chill boar. All right, I think I am ready to eat. I assume everybody else is ready to eat.
Yeah, we're taking them.
Why is that zoomed in? Hate it when it's zoomed in just a tiny bit and then it's like uncomfortably close. Dinner was delicious. I especially love the rolls. Like they're just like slightly crunchy on the outside, soft and warm. Really good rolls. You liked the rolls,
rolls.
even though you only took 2 bites.
They're think she ate like half of hers. She ate all her pasta, which is pretty good.
She did eat all the pasta. All right, we're gonna wrap it up right here. So we will catch you guys on the next one.
Bye.